My building will be 2 stories, each resting on heavy horizontal beams and supported by sturdy vertical posts. Each story will be about 735 square feet with an open floor plan. Downstairs will be my workshop. Upstairs, office and guest room space. Timber frame construction uses fewer, larger pieces of wood than standard stick frame construction, and it connects them with handcrafted joints. It dates back to at least the 12th century. We've just installed one of 2 horizontal beams, or girts, that'll support the second-story floor. They've been pre-measured and cut in the shop, so they should fit perfectly. But now we've hit a snag. The first girt isn't sitting flush against the top of the vertical post.
See this right here? That's a 1/4 inch. So we're looking around trying to figure out what's holding that whole beam high.
Once the fix is made, the girt should fit tightly onto the post. Of course, it doesn't hurt to give it a little help.
Sometimes it takes a chisel, and sometimes it takes a sledgehammer.
With the first girt in place, the next job is putting in the joists. Joists are the smaller beams that'll help to support the floor.
We're using these fancy German timber hangers so that the floor joists, the supports, will drop right into place.
These joist hangers are metal connectors that make it easy to attach the joists to the beams. They're also resistant to the salt air environment of the island. We need to move quickly, because today, we need to crane the floor into place. The floor system panels weigh 800 to 1,000 pounds apiece. Like the walls, they're pre-constructed.
Warren, you better come up just a little bit, okay? There's a ladder sticking up there.
You want to loosen up this come on, you might be landing on these purple straps.
I got it. I got it.
The top surface is oriented strand board, which is a manufactured wood product made from strands of wood glued together under heat and pressure. The panels rest on top of the beams and joists, but thanks to an innovative design, there's some space left in between.
One of the problems with timber frame structures is that if you want to run wires and pipes, you'd have to drill through these beautiful beams. This has these little legs that set the floor structure up off of the joists. That gives you a place to run all your wires and pipes. Another big advantage of this system is it goes in very quickly. And so from a safety standpoint, well, in another hour or so, we can have this whole second floor decked over. That'll give us a nice, safe working surface to put up the rest of the building. This is the west dormer wall. We've got a west dormer wall and an east dormer wall. The rafters sit on top of that wall. And once we set these 2 walls, we'll be able to start setting all those rafters.
Using the long-reach crane, we set the prefabricated sidewall panels up on the second floor. Those are walls that'll create the dormers, giving us extra headspace on the second floor under the steeply pitched roof. Next, we hoist up the rafters. Timber's cut to sit on an angle to support the roof panels.
It's exciting to see the rafters going, isn't it?
Absolutely.
These are the short rafters that form the roof of the little shed portion of the barn.
That's correct.
And I suppose the purists would say you have to use pegs and no steel fasteners, but you're not a purist.
I'm not a purist, that's right. We're going to use this clamping screw, and it has 2 threads, a fine thread at the lower end and a heavy thread at the upper end.
How does that work?
Well, the way that it works is as the screw goes into the timber, this fine portion goes through the timber slower than the coarse section does.
Oh, I get it.
And that causes this rafter to seat more rapidly down onto the timber.
So it's both a fastener and a clamp.
It clamps right down.
300 years ago, if the ancient timber framers had had these, would they have used them?
They would have, and they would have used power tools and cranes too.
You're not a purist at all. I love it. For half a dozen years, I've had the dream of building this barn. It's taken meticulous planning, intense effort, and one of the best teams in the whole business. And now that it's done, I couldn't be more proud.
Now, finally, all the finishing touches have been added, and I've furnished the place.
The materials all speak for themselves. You know, when you look at these timbers, you read the woods of Maine. I mean, you read the tree.
Yeah.
It's sort of like growing your own food, you know? It's that connection between the growing tree and the living building.
And the connection between the forest and my building is plain as day. All you got to do is look out any window.